Hello, my friend. Welcome back to our channel. How are you today? I hope you are doing great, and today I want to talk about something so many of us live through, yet rarely talk about openly. The quiet daily struggle of being from a middle-class family. Not poor enough to receive help, not rich enough to feel free. Caught in the middle, carrying responsibility, expectations, and financial pressure, often silently, often without complaint. Today, we are starting a brand new 6-lesson series about this exact reality, about the burden many middle-class families carry and how to find strength, peace, and hope inside that struggle. Before we begin, do one small thing for me. Press the like button. It takes only 1 second for you, but it means the whole world to us. Okay, are you ready? Let's begin. Lesson 1. The invisible weight no one talks about. There is a kind of struggle that doesn't make headlines, doesn't receive sympathy, and often goes completely unnoticed by the outside world. It's the struggle of the middle-class family. Not desperate enough to be seen as needing help. Not wealthy enough to feel any real financial freedom. Simply stuck in the middle, working hard, month after month, year after year, often without anyone truly acknowledging how heavy that weight actually is. If you come from a middle-class family, you likely know this feeling well. The quiet pressure of paying bills on time, every single month, with very little room for mistakes. The responsibility of taking care of aging parents while also trying to raise or support your own family. The constant silent calculation happening in the background of your mind. Rent, food, education, health, always balancing, always adjusting, always trying to make things work with what you have. This weight is invisible because it doesn't look dramatic from the outside. Nobody sees the sleepless nights spent worrying about next month's expenses. Nobody sees the quiet sacrifice of skipping something you wanted, so someone else in your family could have something they needed. Nobody sees the exhaustion of working hard every day, not for luxury, but simply to maintain stability. And because this struggle is invisible, it often comes with a painful, unspoken shame. Many people in this situation feel like they shouldn't complain because others have it worse. They feel like they should be grateful, and they often are, but gratitude doesn't erase exhaustion. Carrying real responsibility day after day is genuinely heavy, even when you're technically doing okay on paper. Here is something important to understand. Acknowledging this weight is not ungrateful, and it is not weakness. It's simply honest. You can be deeply thankful for what you have and still feel tired from carrying it. Both things can be true at the same time. If this is your reality, I want you to know something clearly today. The tiredness you feel is valid. The pressure you carry is real. And the fact that you keep showing up anyway for your family, for your responsibilities, for your quiet daily sacrifices, makes you far stronger than you probably give yourself credit for. Here are 3 simple truths to hold on to if you're carrying this weight. First, struggling in the middle is still struggling. You don't need to compare your hardship to someone else's to make your own exhaustion valid. Second, carrying responsibility quietly is still carrying a heavy load. The fact that no one sees it doesn't make it lighter. Third, strength isn't the absence of struggle. Strength is continuing to show up for your family, day after day, even while carrying real weight. Remember this, my friend. The middle-class struggle is often silent, But silence doesn't mean it isn't real. You are allowed to acknowledge how heavy your journey has been, even while you continue walking it with courage. Let's do a quick recap. The middle-class struggle is often invisible, unspoken, and unfairly dismissed. Yet it is real, and it is heavy. Acknowledging this weight honestly is not weakness. It's the first step toward carrying it with more peace. Here's your challenge for today. Take a quiet moment today to honestly acknowledge one burden you've been carrying silently. You don't need to fix it today. Simply allow yourself to recognize it and yourself for carrying it as long as you have. You are not alone in this, my friend, and the weight you carry does not go unnoticed here. Lesson 2. The comparison trap that steals your peace. There is a quiet thief that enters the lives of many middle-class families, and it doesn't steal money. It steals peace. It's called comparison, and it often works silently, in the background of daily life, convincing people that what they have and what they've built through hard work simply isn't enough. Think about how easily this happens. You see someone else's new car, their bigger house, their vacation photos, their seemingly effortless lifestyle. And immediately, without even choosing to, your mind begins measuring your own life against theirs. You start feeling behind, even though moments earlier, you felt genuinely content with what you had. Nothing about your actual life changed in that moment. Only your perspective did, pulled away from your own reality, and placed instead beside someone else's. This comparison becomes especially painful for middle-class families because there is often an invisible pressure to appear successful, even while quietly struggling behind closed doors. Many families spend money they don't comfortably have, simply to keep up appearances, to avoid feeling embarrassed, to avoid feeling like they've fallen behind their neighbors, coworkers, or relatives. This creates a painful cycle. Working hard to earn money, only to spend much of it trying to look like you're doing better than you privately feel you are. But here's an important truth about comparison. You are almost never comparing your full reality to someone else's full reality. You're comparing your private struggles, the ones you know intimately, the unpaid bill, the difficult month, the quiet worry, to someone else's curated appearance, the polished photo, the confident smile, the part of their life they've chosen to show. This comparison was never fair from the beginning, because you're measuring your entire truth against someone else's carefully selected highlight. Many families who appear to be doing better than you are often carrying their own version of the exact same struggle, simply hidden more effectively or expressed differently. Financial pressure doesn't disappear just because someone drives a nicer car. It might simply be structured differently, hidden behind debt, behind stress you cannot see, behind struggles they've chosen not to share. This doesn't mean you should ignore your goals or stop working toward a better financial future. It simply means measuring your progress against your own life, your own starting point, your own values, rather than against a curated image you're not even seeing the full truth of. Here are 3 simple truths about escaping the comparison trap. First, you are comparing your full reality to someone else's edited highlight. This comparison was never accurate or fair to begin with. Second, financial struggle often hides well. The people who appear to be doing better may be carrying pressures you simply cannot see. Third, contentment doesn't mean stopping growth. You can work toward a better future while still refusing to measure your worth against someone else's appearance today. Remember this, my friend. Chasing an image, rather than building genuine stability, often leaves families more exhausted and further from real peace, not closer to it. True progress is measured against your own past, not someone else's curated present. Let's do a quick recap. Comparison quietly steals peace by measuring your full reality against someone else's polished appearance. Real financial peace comes from focusing on your own genuine progress, not someone else's carefully presented image. Here's your challenge for today. The next time you notice comparison creeping in, gently remind yourself, I am seeing their highlight, not their full story. My journey is enough. Your value was never measured by comparison, my friend. It was always measured by the quiet strength it takes to keep building your own life, one honest day at a time. Lesson 3. Providing is an act of love, even when it feels thankless. There is a particular kind of exhaustion that comes from providing for a family, day after day, year after year, often without ever hearing the words "thank you," as often as the effort deserves. Waking up early, working long hours, managing bills, sacrificing personal wants, all quietly done for the people you love. And yet so often, this constant giving goes unnoticed, even by the very people benefiting from it. This is one of the hardest parts of carrying financial responsibility for a family. The work is real, the sacrifice is real, but the recognition rarely matches the effort. Children don't fully understand what it costs to keep a household running. Even spouses, caught in their own version of the struggle, sometimes forget to acknowledge what the other is silently carrying. And so, many providers, mothers and fathers alike, continue giving everything they have, quietly wondering if anyone truly sees it. But here is something important to remember. The value of what you're doing is not determined by how often it's acknowledged. A parent working extra hours so their child can have proper school supplies is doing something deeply meaningful, whether or not the child ever fully understands the sacrifice behind it. A person managing household finances carefully, quietly avoiding debt, quietly protecting their family's stability, is performing an act of love, even if no one applauds it. This is the nature of most real love, actually. It rarely announces itself. It rarely demands recognition. It simply shows up again and again in small, consistent, often invisible ways. Getting up for work on a tired morning, saying no to something you wanted so your family could have something they needed. Carrying financial worry silently, so your loved ones don't have to carry that same weight. This doesn't mean you shouldn't ever express your exhaustion or that your feelings don't matter. It's healthy and important to communicate what you're carrying, to ask for appreciation, to let your family know the weight you hold. But even in moments when that appreciation doesn't come as often as you need it, your effort still matters. Your sacrifice still counts. The love behind your responsibility is still real, even on days it feels completely thankless. Here are 3 simple truths to hold on to if you're carrying this kind of quiet responsibility. First, recognition and value are not the same thing. Something can be deeply valuable, even when it isn't consistently recognized. Second, it's okay to want acknowledgement and to ask for it. Needing appreciation doesn't diminish the love behind your effort. It simply makes you human. Third, The people you provide for may not fully understand your sacrifice today, but that doesn't mean it isn't shaping their lives in ways they'll appreciate later, even if it takes years. Remember this, my friend. Providing for your family, quietly, consistently, even when it feels thankless, is one of the purest expressions of love there is. The absence of applause doesn't mean the absence of meaning. Let's do a quick recap. Providing for a family is often thankless in the moment, but the value of that sacrifice doesn't depend on how often it's acknowledged. Your quiet effort is a real, meaningful act of love, even on days it feels invisible. Here is your challenge for today. If you're carrying this kind of responsibility, take a moment today to quietly acknowledge your own effort, even if no one else does. Say to yourself, "What I'm doing matters, even when it isn't seen." You are seen here, my friend, even on the days you feel invisible. Your sacrifice matters more than you know. Lesson 4. Money worry doesn't mean you're failing. There is a specific kind of fear that visits middle-class family often, sometimes daily, sometimes late at night when everyone else is asleep. It's the quiet worry about money. Will there be enough this month? What happens if something unexpected occurs? How long can this careful balance actually hold? And along with this worry often comes a painful, unfair belief. That feeling financially stressed somehow means you're failing. This belief needs to be gently challenged because it isn't true. Financial worry is not proof of failure. It's simply proof that you understand your responsibilities deeply and you care enough about your family's stability to feel the weight of protecting it. Think about how differently financial stress is perceived depending on who experiences it. When someone building a business feels stressed about cash flow, we call it the pressure of entrepreneurship. When someone managing a household budget feels the exact same stress, protecting their family's stability with the exact same care, they often quietly label themselves as failing, simply for feeling the natural weight of real responsibility. The truth is, almost every family, regardless of income level, experiences some version of financial worry. Even families who appear financially comfortable often carry their own private versions of this same concern, simply at a different scale. Money worry isn't unique to failure. It's a natural companion to responsibility itself, especially in a world where costs continue rising and financial stability requires constant, careful management. This doesn't mean financial stress isn't real or that it doesn't deserve attention and effort to improve. It absolutely does. But there's an important difference between working toward better financial stability and believing that your current worry defines your worth or your capability as a provider. You can be a responsible, capable, hardworking person and still feel afraid about money sometimes. These two things are not contradictions. They exist together, honestly, in almost every real financial journey. Many people silently carry shame alongside their financial stress, believing that if they were truly capable, they wouldn't feel this worried at all. But capability was never about never feeling afraid. Capability is continuing to manage your responsibilities carefully, thoughtfully, and consistently, even while carrying that fear quietly alongside you. Here are 3 simple truths about releasing the shame attached to financial worry. First, financial worry is common, not shameful. Nearly every family at some point carries some version of the same quiet concern, regardless of how their life appears from the outside. Second, worry about money often reflects responsibility, not failure. It shows you understand exactly what's at stake, and you care deeply about protecting it. Third, working toward financial stability, while still feeling occasional fear along the way, is not contradiction. It's simply what real, honest financial growth actually looks like for most people. Remember this, my friend. Feeling worried about money doesn't mean you're failing your family. It often means you're taking your responsibility to them seriously, which is exactly what a caring provider does. Let's do a quick recap. Financial worry is not a sign of failure. It's a natural companion to real responsibility, experienced by nearly every family in some form. Releasing the shame attached to this worry allows you to manage your finances with more clarity and less unnecessary guilt. Here is your challenge for today. The next time financial worry visits your mind, instead of labeling yourself as failing, gently remind yourself, this worry means I care. It doesn't mean I'm failing. You are doing better than you give yourself credit for, my friend. Worry and capability can exist together, and neither one erases the other. Lesson 5. You are allowed to want more, even while being grateful for what you have. There is a quiet, confusing conflict that many people from middle-class families carry inside them, one that rarely gets spoken about honestly, because it feels almost impossible to explain without sounding ungrateful. On one hand, there is real gratitude, genuine appreciation for the roof over your head, the food on your table, the family you love, the life you've managed to build through years of hard work and sacrifice. On the other hand, there's also a quiet, persistent desire for more financial breathing room, more freedom from constant calculation, more opportunity for your children, more rest from the endless cycle of working simply to maintain what you already have. And so often, people feel forced to choose between these two feelings, believing that wanting more somehow cancels out being grateful for what already exists. But this belief is not only unfair, it's simply untrue. Gratitude and ambition are not opposites. They are not enemies competing for space inside you. In fact, some of the most meaningful growth happens exactly at the intersection of these two feelings. Being deeply thankful for what you have, while still honestly acknowledging that you want and deserve the chance to build something more. Think about where this false belief often comes from. Many of us were raised hearing phrases like, "Be happy with what you have," or "Some people have nothing, so don't complain." And while there is real wisdom in appreciating what you have, rather than constantly chasing more out of comparison or greed, this wisdom is often misapplied in a way that quietly shames people for having any ambition at all. Wanting a better financial future for your children isn't greed. Wanting relief from constant financial pressure isn't ingratitude. Wanting the chance to build something beyond simply surviving month to month isn't a betrayal of everything you've worked hard to create so far. There is an important difference between toxic comparison, chasing more simply because someone else has it, out of insecurity or competition, and healthy, honest desire, wanting genuine improvement because you can clearly see how it would benefit your family's well-being, security, and future. The first comes from a place of lack and anxiety. The second comes from a place of hope and vision. Confusing these two and shaming yourself out of the second because it resembles the first often keeps people stuck, quietly suppressing their own legitimate goals out of unnecessary guilt. Consider a parent working a stable job, grateful every day for the security it provides. and still quietly, dreaming of starting something of their own, something that could eventually offer their family more freedom, more financial breathing room, more possibility. This isn't a contradiction. This is simply what growth-oriented gratitude looks like. Appreciating today fully, while still working intentionally toward a better tomorrow. Suppressing that dream in the name of gratitude doesn't make someone more grateful. It often simply makes them quietly resentful or slowly disconnected from their own hopes, believing that wanting more was never allowed for someone in their position. This lesson matters deeply for middle-class families specifically, because the pressure to simply be content is often strongest exactly here, in the middle, where you're technically comfortable enough to be told you shouldn't complain, yet still carrying enough real struggle to know deeply that something better is both possible and deserved. You are allowed to hold both truths honestly at the very same time. You can love your life, appreciate your family, feel genuine gratitude for everything you've built, and still want more financial freedom, more stability, more opportunity, without any of these desires canceling out your gratitude. Here are 3 simple truths about holding gratitude and ambition together, honestly. First, gratitude is not the absence of desire. You can deeply appreciate your current life while still working intentionally toward a better one. These 2 feelings were never meant to cancel each other out. Second, healthy ambition comes from hope, not lack. Wanting more because you see genuine potential for your family's future is very different from chasing more out of insecurity or comparison. Third, suppressing your goals in the name of gratitude often leads to quiet resentment, not peace. True peace comes from allowing yourself to want more, while still fully appreciating what you already have today. Remember this, my friend. A tree can be deeply rooted, stable, and appreciative of the ground beneath it, while still reaching upward toward more sunlight, more growth, more height. Roots and growth were never in competition. They work together, exactly the way gratitude and ambition are meant to. Let's do a quick recap. Gratitude and the desire for more are not contradictions. They can genuinely exist together, especially when your ambition comes from hope rather than comparison or lack. Suppressing your goals out of guilt often creates quiet resentment, while honestly holding both gratitude and ambition together creates real, lasting peace. Here's your challenge for today. Take a moment to honestly acknowledge one thing you genuinely want for your family's future, without attaching guilt to that desire. Remind yourself, I can be grateful for today and still want more for tomorrow. Both are allowed. You are allowed to dream beyond survival, my friend. Gratitude was never meant to keep you small. Lesson 6. Your responsibility is also your purpose. We have spent 5 lessons walking honestly through the reality of the middle-class family. We acknowledge the invisible weight so many carry silently, without recognition or complaint. We name the comparison trap that quietly steals peace, even from families who are genuinely doing well. We honored the thankless, quiet love behind providing for others, day after day, often without applause. We release the shame so many people attach to financial worry, understanding that it comes from responsibility, not failure. And we gave ourselves permission to want more, while still remaining deeply grateful for what already exists. Today, in our final lesson, I want to offer you a shift in perspective. one that can transform the way you carry everything we've discussed so far. For most of this series, we've talked about responsibility as a burden, something heavy, something exhausting, something carried quietly and often without recognition. And this is true. Responsibility is heavy, but there is another way to see this same weight, one that doesn't erase the difficulty, but adds something powerful alongside it. Your responsibility is not only your burden, it is also your purpose. Think carefully about what your daily responsibility actually represents. Waking up early to provide for your family isn't simply exhausting labor. It's proof that people depend on you, trust you, and are shaped by your presence in their lives. Managing your finances carefully, even under pressure, isn't only stressful calculation, it's you actively protecting the people you love, using your effort and your mind to build safety for them day after day. Carrying the weight of your family's stability isn't only heavy, it's also deeply meaningful, because very few things in life matter as much as being the reason someone else feels safe, cared for, and supported. This doesn't mean the weight becomes light simply because it has meaning. Purposeful weight can still be heavy. A parent's love for their child doesn't make the sleepless nights any less tiring. A provider's dedication to their family doesn't make financial pressure disappear. But there is a profound difference between carrying weight that feels pointless and carrying weight that you understand is connected to something larger than yourself. The first exhausts you completely. The second, even while still difficult, can also fill you with quiet strength, resilience, and even pride, because you understand exactly why you're carrying it. Consider the countless small sacrifices woven into middle-class family life. Choosing not to buy something you wanted so your child could have what they needed. Working overtime, not out of ambition for luxury, but out of love for stability. Managing every rupee, dollar, or peso carefully, not because you enjoy restriction, but because you understand what that careful management protects. None of these sacrifices are small when you truly look at them closely. Each one is a quiet, consistent act of love, repeated so often that it becomes easy to forget how meaningful it actually is. This is why, on the hardest days, it's worth pausing to remember not just what you're carrying, but why you're carrying it. You are not simply working to pay bills. You are working to give your children opportunities you may not have had yourself. You are not simply managing stress. You are protecting the people who depend on your strength and steadiness. You are not simply surviving month to month. You are actively building a life, a legacy, and a foundation, brick by brick, sacrifice by sacrifice, whether or not anyone around you ever fully recognizes the depth of that effort. Purpose doesn't remove difficulty, but purpose changes your relationship with difficulty. It transforms exhausting weight into meaningful weight. It transforms invisible sacrifice into quiet legacy. And over time, purpose is often exactly what allows people to keep showing up, day after day, year after year, even when the recognition they deserve rarely comes, and even when the financial pressure remains real and ongoing. If you are a middle-class provider, working hard, worrying quietly, sacrificing constantly for people you love, I want you to know something clearly as we close this series. What you are doing matters deeply, even on days it feels unnoticed. The love behind your responsibility is not wasted, even when it goes unspoken. And the weight you carry, while genuinely heavy, is also quietly, powerfully proof of how deeply you love the people depending on you. Let's talk about 3 final truths to carry with you from this series. First, your responsibility is not only a burden, it is also evidence of your purpose, your love, and your role in the lives of the people who depend on you. Second, meaning doesn't erase difficulty, but it changes how you carry that difficulty, transforming exhaustion into quiet, resilient strength. Third, the sacrifices you make quietly, day after day, are not small or forgettable. They are the foundation of the life and legacy you are actively building for your family. Remember this, my friend. A bridge doesn't complain about the weight it carries, because it understands its purpose is exactly to hold that weight, so others can safely cross. You are that bridge for your family, carrying real weight, so the people you love can move forward safely, supported by everything you quietly provide. Let's do a quick recap of everything we've learned in this series. The middle-class struggle is real and heavy, even when it remains invisible to the outside world. Comparison steals peace by measuring your full reality against someone else's curated appearance. Providing for your family is a genuine act of love, valuable even when it goes unrecognized. Financial worry reflects responsibility, not failure, and deserves compassion rather than shame. You are allowed to want more for your family's future, while still remaining deeply grateful for what you already have. And finally, your responsibility, as heavy as it is also deeply connected to your purpose, your love, and the quiet legacy you are building every single day. Here's your final challenge, my friend. Today, take a moment to view your responsibility, even briefly, not only as a burden, but also as proof of your purpose. Say to yourself, "This weight I carry is heavy, but it also means I am someone my family can depend on." That matters. Being middle class was never a small or lesser story, my friend. It is often the story of quiet strength, invisible sacrifice, and deep, consistent love, carried by people who rarely receive the recognition they truly deserve. You are one of those people, and your effort, seen or unseen, is building something that truly matters. And that brings us to the end of today's journey, my friend. We learned that the middle-class struggle is real, often invisible, and deeply misunderstood. But the weight you carry is also proof of your love, your purpose, and your quiet strength. If these words touched something real in you today, please share this video with someone who's been carrying this same weight silently. And if you believe your sacrifice deserves to be seen, this channel is a must-follow for you. We don't just teach English here. We teach life-changing lessons that can transform the way you think, speak, and live. So please subscribe today. Not just for us, but for the recognition your quiet strength has always deserved. Thank you for spending this time with me. Keep carrying your family with love, my friend. Take care, and see you soon.